Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about how to create or author multiple choice and matching questions on the Edulastic platform. So here I am again at my dashboard where we always start. And over here is our menu, and I'm going to go to item bank. There are other ways to get to it, but I feel like this is the fastest. And here you're finding, again, all of the items that we did when we were putting them on our tests in the last session or in the last video. But to make an item yourself, you can go up here to the right-hand corner and click New Item. So I'm going to do that. On the left side are all of the different types of items that you can author. We do not have time for all of these today, sorry. So we are going to just focus on the multiple choice and matching. So we're going to start with multiple choice, which is automatically already kind of selected for you. And then if you're looking over here, there's tons of different types of multiple choice questions. Not really different questions, but the way the question appears to your students. So if you hear, this is a regular multiple choice, and so is this. It's just this is bubbles and this is blocks. So whichever way you like it. I like to kind of switch it up so my students just get a different variety, but they're really the same thing. Multiple select, you can obviously see that this is when students would select more than one answer. There's lots of different options for true or false. If you can see that, here's the normal one question, true or false. This is multiple questions, true or false, and so is this, just kind of written in a different format. This is in a table, and this is all together, and then the same kind of here. This would be kind of like true or false, but you could change these to yes or no or different words that you wanted. So lots of different options here. I'm going to just start off with the basic multiple choice today. So then you're taken to the author screen where you, and this looks pretty similar for most question types, just varies a little bit based on what you're doing. So the first thing they're going to ask you to do is enter the question. So you're going to write that in there. And you can see when you're writing, there are bold, italics, underline. You can even insert a video. If you're a math person like me, here's the where you can click and write an equation with all the math symbols and make it look perfect. There's also inserting tables and pictures and links and all kinds of stuff that you can do to the question itself, like the actual question. So lots of things there, tools for you to use. Once you're done writing the question, you scroll down and fill out the other parts. So the next, which you could click over here and it would scroll it down for you if you wanted to pop all the way down to the bottom or all the way up to the top. The correct answer, this right here is telling you that it is worth 1 point. So if I get it right, I get 1 point. So you could change that to 2 if it was really important, or 1.5 or a half because it's on the, whatever you want to do there. This is where you change the point value. Here's where you would type in all of your multiple choice options, and you can move this around and put your correct answer at the bottom and then click that one and it'll be your correct answer. So you don't have to leave it with A being the correct answer. So I'm just going to type in my choices here. If you only wanted 2 choices, you could use these delete buttons over here to get rid of it, or you could add multiple choice. If you accidentally clicked the wrong one and you wanted this be one where they had to click more than one answer, you can just do that right here. And now look, I've made it a question where they have to click 2 answers instead of 1. So really easy to switch back and forth between that on there. Down here in the scoring tab, this enable auto scoring means that Edulastic is going to grade it for you. If you wanted to click this over here, that means that they don't get any points for the question, and that's kind of like what you would use for a practice test. The scoring type with multiple choice, it's going to have to be exact match, but on some other questions, if it was where they had to pick multiple, you could put partial match and it would give them partial credit for picking one of the right answers, but not all of them. If you're an ELA person, this is where you would find a rubric and you could put a rubric in there. I'm going to go over that more in the ELA question types. So if you're curious about that, find the video on authoring writing passages questions, and I'll talk about that there. Scoring instructions would be maybe this is a test that the entire district is giving and you want to give special instructions on how it's supposed to be scored. You could write that to the instructors there. Since this is multiple choice, I'm not going to worry about that. Dynamic parameters, I'm going to talk more about this in my math video. This is mainly used for math type questions. It doesn't have to be, but usually it's used in math type questions. So if you are curious and you're a math teacher, find the video about authoring math questions, and I'll talk more about dynamic parameters there. All right, display is just changing the size or the options of how it looks on your screen. I usually leave these alone, but if you were wanting to change some of the font sizes for some of your students or the screen types that you have, or if you had tablets or something, you are more than welcome to change all of these options about displays. Now the solution, at first you would think like the solution is you put in the right answer, but that was up here at set correct answer. The solution is like if you are going to let your students see what they missed and see that they missed it right away, this would be some things that would pop up and tell them why they missed it. So you could type in an explanation here and be like, remember Mrs. LeVeaux is the best. You could even add in like some distractors of like, well, if you had this, this is why you got this answer wrong, and stuff like that for students to look at. Those are really great if you're doing this as like a practice test, so students can review what they did wrong right away before moving on to the next question. A lot of people get confused and put the explanation here in the hint. A hint is something that will pop up while the student is taking the test. So do not put anything in this hint box that you don't want the students to see while they're taking it, because a box would appear on the question that would say show a hint, and your hint would pop up. So again, if you're wanting, maybe this is a practice test and you want to give them a little bit of a push to the right answer, you might want to put a hint in there. If not, I would leave that blank. All right, once you're done with all of these settings, I like to go back up to the top where I've got these tabs, and I like to go to the preview mode, because now I can preview what my question is going to look like to my students before I save it. And I can see that, oh, this probably doesn't look good because there's 2 multiple choice options here that have nothing on it. So I probably need to go back and fix those. And you can do that by clicking back in edit mode. You could also click and say check answer to make sure that you have indeed coded in the right answer that you wanted, and see it came up incorrect. So that would check to the automatic scoring part of it. So I just like that to be able to see what the students see and make sure it looks right. Then I go over here to metadata. So metadata is where you answer in what is your question match what standard. And sometimes this is easy to forget, but this is also important so that you can find this question later and use it on all your assessments with that coded type. So mine is already set to Missouri Math because that was kind of in my settings. But then here I can click, and when you just click up, pop some of the standards, or you can click over here and browse and get a little different of a way to find the standards, but then you need to code your question to your standards so that it will pop up, and so you can get good data on your data reports as well. If you don't have those standards in there, you're not going to be able to use some of the data reports on standards. Here you can also enter your depth of knowledge so that you can kind of be sure that, okay, make sure that I'm doing all the varieties of depth of knowledge, or maybe I want only DOK 3s on my test. Then you would know based on the DOKs that were put in here if it matches that. Remember, tags is just an easy way to like search for it later. So if you wanted to put in a tag there so that when you went to search it later, you can find it easier. This is just some extra stuff that we usually don't worry about, but any additional things you wanted to write in here, you definitely could. When you're ready, if you want to put it on a test and you're ready to go, you're going to push publish. If you're like, I need to save this for later, I'm not sure if it's ready, you would just push save. There is, of course, this how to author up here at the right. That would give you some more instructions and help on how to author questions if you needed some assistance from Edulastic. So that's multiple choice. I'm going to go back and cancel that question. And we're going to look at the matching part. So I'm going to click new item again. And down here is the matching. Again, lots of different ways to do matching here. This is like I would take this list and resort it in the right order. This is like I want you to put all the blue things here and all the red things here, and the kids would drag them into the right box. This one is like the options are down here and you drag them to whatever matches to the left, like maybe the definition's here and here's all the words and you drag those up. This is similar to the sort list, except they're already in a list and the kids just drag it on the same list. They don't drag it over to the side. I'm just going to go with a basic matching for this today. So again, look, it looks very similar when I click. You write in your question, and all those same types of tools are up here for you to use. Then this is where it looks a little bit different. The list is like the definitions that you would have. Like maybe it's who teaches math and who teaches science and who teaches ELA or something like that. And then down here, the possible responses would be like all of your answer choices, like the teachers, or maybe the definition one at the top, and these are the terms here at the bottom, stuff like that. You can, of course, add more than what they had there to make more lists, and you can add more choices as well. Maybe you want a distractor in there. Then when you scroll down to set correct answers, you almost see very close to what the students see in this screen. And you would drag up the correct one into the correct box so that they know what the answer is supposed to be. Again, this is where you could change this. Maybe you want this worth 3 points because you have 3 definitions here. You could do that as well, or maybe you wanted 1.5 points for each one. This is where you could click to have the names like shuffled, which I would suggest. And if you wanted to keep the names, like when I drug the names up here, if you wanted the kids to have it stay there so that they would maybe be able to use it twice, you could click duplicated responses and see how they would still be there for the students to like put it up there twice if you wanted. Okay. Scoring, again, is the same as what we talked about before. This means that it is going to score the question for me. I'm not going to click this because that's not a practice test. Maybe on this one I want to put partial match, because what if they got 2 of them right but not the 3rd one? And then you can pick some options here for like, do I round it up? Do I not round it all? Do I penalize for picking the one that you weren't supposed to? Or do I just give you points for the one you did? Lots of different choices for you there on the partial match stuff. Again, there's the rubric if you need it, and scoring instructions if you'd like to put those in. Dynamic parameters, again, are mainly for math. Here's all your display stuff. Again, a little bit different choices here because we've got some columns and stuff. So they're saying like all the words are going to be at the bottom, or all the words going to be at the left, or all the words going to be at the right. So you could change where those words actually appear on the kids' screens and all kinds of stuff like that there. Again, down here in this area is where you could write stuff to the students at the end if they got the correct answer, how they got that answer, and hints and stuff like that. Again, when you go to preview mode, it will let you like be a student, so you could actually like pull these up here and see what it would look like. See, because I clicked that duplicate button, it stayed down there. And I could put these in, and then I could check my answer to see if it's right, and see that the scoring is correct, and so on and so forth. Again, the metadata screen looks just the same as the last one, and is pretty much the same for all question types here on out, to put your standards in there and your depth of knowledge and your Bloom taxonomy. Then again, when you're done, you push save or publish. Again, there are slightly different versions of these matching and multiple choice items, but they're around the same type of setup. Thank you for watching.